100%. I've been saying this for a long time, which is anybody who could figure out how to employ the stay-at-home mom workforce is going to make billions of dollars.
Dude, this morning, my friend had a 40th birthday party and he rented out an entire water park.
This morning?
From like 7:30 a.m. to like 10 a.m. And I went to it. Yeah, it was like me and Ramon and Neville. And then like, David Parr, he was there and a bunch of other guys were there. And it was so fun. We had this whole park to ourselves. And then I came home and like threw up and went to sleep.
Because you caught something? Because you threw about a nostalgia? Why are you puking?
I didn't when I was a kid, I used to love that stuff, and then I did all these like slides
you
and like
went too hard
and like going through them. You go like these slides are. It's kind of hard to explain, but you're like in the those tubes that like go in twisties, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it just made me sick to my stomach. I was like on the ride home, I was like, Neville, I think I might throw up. Can you unlock the window? I couldn't believe how like old I got.
You savage. You threw up out the window? You didn't even
No, I didn't do it out the window, but I came home and I got sick and I just had to lay down. I cannot believe how life has changed.
Like you didn't even drink. Just the action, just the movement.
Well, did you go to rides at Disney?
My daughter's 2, so I did only like the Dumbo ride, like the most simple rides.
I don't like. I think
it's a little crazy.
I think I would have done like the big stuff. I think I would throw up at this point. I couldn't handle it. It was horrible. But man, this is why Austin is awesome. So so David Parr, I don't know him that well, but just 2 blocks up, there's this restaurant, and me and Sarah went out to breakfast, and he was there, and so we knew who each other's were, and we just said, "What's good?" We're gonna go hang out. Last night, I had this guy over named Chris Williamson. Do you know who that is?
No,
he's like a popular YouTuber, and he just DM'd me and he said, "I'm in Austin. Do you want to hang out?" And I go, "Yeah, just come over for dinner." Like we're just like constantly just seeing people. It's pretty wild. It's a small, weird. It's like a lot of like cool people here, but it's a small town.
Yeah, that used to be the case in San Francisco. Because you would just bump into people everywhere that were like doing the same thing, like-minded people who are also in the same game. But I don't know. I moved out of the city now, so I'm in the burb. My neighbor is 80 years old. If I bump into him, he's telling me about crochet or something like that. So it's not the same.
Well, it's awesome here. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. You want to get into some stuff? You have a bunch of really interesting things to talk about. I've got less interesting things to talk about.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's pick one.
Actually, let me lead with mine because I have less stuff. This is pretty much the only thing. But you talked to this person. All right, this woman named Rebecca Zamalo. You talked to her, right?
Yeah, I think you butchered her last name. Zamarolo, I think.
Zamarolo, sorry.
Something like that.
All right, so I did a call with her as well. I DM'd her and we started talking. This woman is amazing. So basically, awesome. It's her and her husband. Her husband's name's Matt. They're partners on this. She has a YouTube channel. It's anyone listening to this, you only probably know about it if you have kids. So it's meant for children. It's like acting, like fictional stuff.
Like age 6 to 8, 6 to 10-ish maybe, where it's like it's not the like absolute beginner kiddie Cocomelon type of stuff. It's like somewhere in between. And yeah, they basically like it's a little show. It's almost like a TV show. Whether it's Blue's Clues or whatever else, they create these videos, these little 10-minute videos that are entertaining.
And on her personal channel, she's got like 10 or 12 million subscribers. She has 7 channels total. So 6 other channels, one for her dog, one for her husband, one for for gaming, just like all types of stuff. She's releasing 8 videos a week. They have a team of like 8 or 6 people maybe. And she kind of told me a little bit about some of like the business numbers. My mind was blown. It was astounding.
Unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Did you talk to her about her business? We can't I didn't ask her if I could say anything and she wouldn't like that. But
I'll put that on blast. But yeah, I the dog has 10 times, maybe 20 times more subscribers than we do on YouTube. Like it's like, oh, this is my dog's gaming channel, and it'll have like 400,000 subscribers or something crazy. So she gets YouTube, has 10 million subscribers is no joke. And the amount of production, the content output, like just that thing you said sounded like 7, 8 videos a week. It's like, okay, so they release a video pretty much every day.
But they're like 40-minute long sometimes.
Yeah, they're like long videos with like storylines about and she'll be like, we moved into this new house and there was like this weird door in my bedroom. So we created this storyline about this like secret passage that takes you down, and then there's a villain inside, and the villain is my husband, and like that's the like. Then they create a whole play, basically a little screenplay, and they shoot it. And while we were talking, she's like, "Yeah, downstairs there's like 8 people for our crew, like our kind of film, audio, editors, whatever, that are all here." And she's like, "Yeah, my life is crazy."
It was wild. And she was telling me about different stuff. And so there's this guy named Dar Mon. So his first name is Dar, D-H.
I know him well, yeah.
Okay, so you're friends with him?
I'm not friends with him. My wife either knew him like in college or something like that or whatever, but then we've done some deals with them, him and his wife, around like influencer content.
So he's got 13.8 million subscribers, and it's kind of lame what he does, like lame in that it's not going to fit what we do, but basically it's like Hallmark Channel videos. Like one was like someone bullies an autistic kid and the reaction is crazy, and it's like a fictional Hallmark video. I think they like children watch it, I guess, to understand like values. And he's got something like 100 employees, and he's brand new to this, like within
like a 3-year thing.
Yeah, like 2-3 years, 100 employees, and they pump these videos out to the point of like right now he's got 6.3 billion views, and it is crazy. And across all their platforms, their videos have been viewed 27 billion times. Some of these YouTubers, I'm just blown away at how big their businesses are. And when I'm thinking about it, and I talked to Rebecca, I'm like, this actually isn't that hard. I could do this. And if you dedicate like 40 or 50 hours a week, if you start from scratch, you can get big really fast. But you have to treat it like a job, not a hobby, just like anything else.
Yeah, like a business, not even a job. Because you're
business.
Managing a bunch of people, and you got to have a product for customers and things like that. So yeah, I totally agree. Like I'm on his Twitter, so it says like new videos Monday through Thursday, family friendly, kid approved. Right, that is a product you're offering. We release on these days. We are kid friendly, rated G. Like here's what you're gonna get out of this, and that's my studio company or whatever. And I think, but by the way, before this guy, I think he was doing like a cannabis company,
an e-commerce thing. Like yeah, they have an e-commerce and cannabis business, like unrelated.
He's doing all kinds of stuff.
It's amazing. It's incredible. These YouTubers, like I'm blown away because there's so many that you have no idea who they are, but they have these empires that could be potentially making tens of millions of dollars a year.
Yeah, I also think it's really hard to do what they're doing. It's not for everybody. And I guess that's kind of obvious, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if you could do it, not everybody could do it, but even if you could do it, doesn't mean you should do it. Like this is such a hard thing to do, to get on that treadmill and say, I'm going to produce awesome content 5 days a week, nonstop. And if I ever stop, the algorithm punishes me, and my subscribers leave my channel, and my Patreon people stop giving me money, and I don't have ad content for my sponsors. And if I ever, just don't feel like being in front of the camera, like it doesn't work. There's no substitute teacher to step in here and step into this business. So I think it is a really valuable, I think it's a powerful business when you have it, because anytime you have the trust of millions of people who like your entertainment, that's great. But man, I don't think it's worth it. I'm not even just saying that theoretically. Like I've thought about doing it, and I'm like, there's no way this is worth it for me.
And that's what I said to her. And so this guy Dar, I think he's not like the face, I believe. In most of his videos, I don't think I think he's in close to none of his videos or something like that. With her, she was like, yeah, but we've got all these 7 other channels now, so we diversified beyond just me. And I agree with you. I think that that's a hard treadmill, but I would say to the other side is like everything is that, right? If you start anything, like of course you just got to work at it for a long time.
I think I could share this, but when I did the episode, when I recorded with Hassan Minhaj, who's like, comedian, he's on TV shows, stuff like that. He had asked me at one point during the thing, I think the episode's coming out soon. He had asked me like, like what would you do next step if you were me? And on the pod
he
itself,
asked you that.
Yeah, like kind of like, okay, from a business point of view, what would you do next? And on the pod itself, I don't think I gave him a great answer. Like, I think in the pod, we were talking more about like, how would you invest your money? And I was like, here's kind of the thought process I would go down. It was kind of a boring, lame answer, to be honest. But afterwards, when we were hanging out, I told him what I think is actually the real answer for this. I said, everybody should do what fits them. Like, something that looks exhausting to me might feel amazing to somebody else. So, don't take my word for it, but let's just pretend I'm just going to give you my 2 cents and you could throw it away if you don't like it. I said, if I was you, this touring business model seems awesome. Cause I was at your show. It was, like 4,000 seats sold out. Every average ticket's like $150, and you just did that 8 times in this city, and then you're going to go to 50 cities on this tour. Like, you could just add it up and be like, wow, you can make a lot of money touring. And then there's no limit to that. Like, yeah, this was a 4,000 person auditorium, but you could do your same set in front of 30,000 people in a bigger stadium. If Chris Rock or Dane Cook or whoever these other people would do that size tours. So I said, you got a business model that works. But the problem is I was like, you're a new dad like me. Like, I can't imagine being on the road going to 50 cities. Like, we've been invited to many things, and I've been like, yeah. And then I'm like, traveling is so hard with little kids. I got to leave my wife. I don't really want to leave the house for an extended period of time right now. Like, I like being home. So I was like, for me, I would want to get rid of the travel component. I said, well, okay, how do you do that? You can't have a substitute teacher come in and say your jokes on stage. That doesn't work. And so what I had told him afterwards, I go, if I was you, I would stash cash and I would create a 2-year runway where I could just work on one thing. And that is creating the next Hamilton. And he's like, what? And I was like, I would use your storytelling, your comedic abilities. I would create Hamilton for brown people. Because that's like his audience, his demographic is like heavily skewed Asian. And I said, I'll create Hamilton for brown people. I don't even know what that means. I would just take that and say, I'm doing that. And then he's like, he reacted to it or whatever. And I was like, the reason I would do that is because then you get the business model of touring, but it's not you on the stage.
Yeah, and so you own that IP.
Back and you only have to create it once. And like Mamma Mia has been running for fucking 16 years and has done over $600 million in ticket sales. And, Hamilton's done over $1 billion in ticket sales. And it's the same story. It's the same songs. It's the same jokes every night, done by a different cast of kind of like, fungible or interchangeable pieces. So you're not super dependent on any one talent. Like, you can switch it off, switch out people if you need. So I was like, that to me seems like an amazing business model. I would do that. So that's kind of my example of this YouTube thing, is like, you can also do the YouTube thing, but in a different way. Like, I think it's cool that Dar isn't the face of his videos. So then it's more like a production company. It's like a TV show he's created, not so much a vlog.
Dude, there's this guy, people are going to laugh at me because I don't know, or if you know who this is it Andrew Lloyd Webber? I forget the guy's name.
Is that the Fan of the Opera guy?
Yeah. And did he do Joseph, something Jesus, Radical? What's that Broadway show where it's like Radical Jesus, or like Jesus is, it's like about Jesus, and they're like
Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yes, fucking A.
What you're looking for.
Yes.
So you did School of Rock, Phantom of the Opera, and Evita, which are all big hits that I've heard of. And then I've never heard of Jesus Christ Superstar, but yeah, that's apparently like done in the 70s.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
So I looked up. So when I thought of that play model, I was like, is the play business a good business?
It could be,
and I think it can be. So the top IP definitely accrues like a shit ton of value. Like I said, if you can go look at, like, Lion King has grossed like $2 billion. That's the number 1 stage play.
What's number 2 and 3?
Hamilton is like getting up there. It's like number 2 or 3 now, but it's like very new. So it'll surpass Lion King if it just keeps going. There's like Phantom of the Opera. There's Mamma Mia. There's like, so you take the top 10 and they're all doing like hundreds of millions in gross sales. Okay. Now you don't get to keep the gross sales, but I think you could do this in a way that works. So like the guy who created Hamilton, Lin-Manuel, whatever his name is.
Yeah. But did the author get paid too on that one?
So this guy, Lin, who's the creator of it, he has like a 7% royalty or something like that.
Wow.
So he's made like tens of millions of dollars off of the profits. They actually crowdfunded the thing. So what they did, I don't have the full story in front of me because I'm just trying to say this off the top of my head from memory, but I think what they did was, to raise the money to create the thing, they had like a bunch of patrons basically chip in money, and they all get to keep a profit share after a certain amount of money had been recouped. And so that investment has been paid over like 10 times. So if I was Hustle Minaj, I'd be like, there's Web3 shit going on. Interesting. A lot of people flush with cash buying into shit. Okay, cool. Digital tickets, NFTs. Okay, what can I do with this? And I would basically raise $10 million through an NFT pre-sale of the show. and in different tiers. Like, some of the tickets have backstage passes attached to them. Some of them don't, whatever.
That's interesting.
And I would just let people buy this. I'd raise $10 million. I'd use the $10 million to go into a bunker to create whatever the hell Hamilton for black people is. And then I would
Hamilton for brown people, for Indians.
Oh yeah, sorry, not black people, brown people. So then I would take that show on the road, and I would just I would be like, yeah, I know it's hard, but like being a successful stand-up comedian was also like a 0.1% success rate or whatever, to get to where he's at. So like, yeah, you want to get to the 0.1% success rate, but this time with a superior business model that doesn't require your face on the stage saying the jokes.
Yeah, I think that's sick. I think that's a great idea. I think that's wonderful. I think, and that could be incredibly creatively fulfilling.
I wish I had said it on the spot. It's like one of those when you're in an argument and then like later you're in the shower. You're like, oh fuck, I should have said that. That's what happened to me. But luckily we were still hanging out at that moment, so I was able to tell him, then.
This is a cool idea. I think in the next couple episodes, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to bring in. I'm going to do some research on the Broadway business, or like, I don't know, theater. I guess, what do you call it? Theater.
Yeah.
It's actually an interesting idea. I was always curious because American Idiot, basically, they did this. So Billy Joe Armstrong Green Day wrote American Idiot, the album, the song. They turned it into a rock musical.
Right.
You didn't have to be there. They didn't have to be there.
Exactly.
And they got paid a lot from it.
Book of Mormon. Let me see how much Book of Mormon has made. Mormon revenue. $500 million has been the gross ticket sales of Book of Mormon. And then if you did something like a Hamilton or like a Lion King or whatever, you could take that same IP, those characters. You have merch. You have like other... That IP is you got to own the IP. And, so I think, when Book of Mormon launched, it says it was bringing in 19 million per month. So like, I don't know what South Park generated lifetime, but like, I bet it's kind of like on par with that. Or, I guess South Park's probably a bigger success.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. South Park. Just in 20, I didn't know this happened actually. It looks like a couple months ago, the South Park creators signed a $900 million deal for more episodes for 6 years with Viacom CBS. That's insane. I didn't know that.
That's actually amazing. That's amazing.
Right now is the best time ever to be a production company or an IP holder. And we said this a long time ago. Remember I said there's all these platforms now. You got, at the time it was Netflix, Amazon Prime, and then I said Disney Plus was going to come out. It hadn't come out yet. And then there was like, there's Hulu, there's all these different platforms. Apple TV Plus came out. They all want original content. They're all hungry for content, and they are betting billions of dollars, budgeting every single year to buy content. I think Netflix or Amazon or something like, they're paying like $6 billion per year for content, for new content production. And so it is the best time ever to be a seller of content. And at the time we had said somebody should create YC for content. Basically the way that Y Combinator helped produce software startups. And it just said, hey, 2 engineers. Okay, you're 21 years old. You graduated from Stanford. All right, come here. This is essentially like a business school, but you're going to create a little business. And, maybe you can sell to Facebook or Google, or you'll end up becoming the next Airbnb. You'll go public. I think the same thing with the content, where you come in as 2 kind of like creatives. You have a pitch for an idea of a show you want to create. You have 3 months to basically create the sizzle reel or the pilot or whatever. And then there's a demo day with a bunch of buyers from all the big streaming platforms, and they just buy options on your shit. And I just think I still think that's a great business idea. And it's only been proven when South Park signs a $900 million deal with CBS. Shonda Rhimes, I think, signed a couple $100 million deal with Netflix to produce 6 shows. Reese Witherspoon sold her production company, which didn't even have that
for like $1 billion.
For like $1 billion. This is tech startup money that's being sold for TV content, which is amazing. So, that's
and way more fun than building software.
Way cooler than that. And I think today Hasan Minhaj also announced his production. He created a production company today. He announced it like 100, I think it's called 186K Productions or something like that, which is smart. Again, like once you see Reese Witherspoon and other people's production companies selling, and we had Rob Dyrdek on, I think he said he sold his production company for 200 something million.
He said that I think he said he's walking away with 100, him personally.
Yeah. So like, I think, at least 100 million, probably closer to 200 million. He sold his production company, which basically just produced shows for MTV. That's a great business to be in. And I think it's only going to get better for like this kind of 5-year period. And then these platforms are going to go away, like Paramount Plus, and like Quibi died, Paramount Plus, what the fuck is that? That's going to die.
I love Paramount Plus.
Why do you love Paramount? What's the one show you love on there? There's got to be one.
They have like a lot of documentaries and shit. Paramount, it's like older. It's like old school a little bit.
Or like Peacock. Are you a subscriber to Peacock?
Hell yeah,
dude! My god,
dude!
Peacock, dude.
Peacock. I literally was just when I was laying in bed when I wasn't feeling good. I watched The Office on Peacock. Peacock is the only place that you can get The Office.
NBC's one, right?
Yeah, you could. The Office and Parks and Rec. It's the only place you can get it. And then so I use it for Parks and Rec, The Office, and AP Bio. Or have you seen AP Bio?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's like with
like
the
class I took in high school.
It's like the main guy from It's Always Sunny. You know, Dee's brother, Dennis.
Yeah.
It's sick. But Peacock's good, man. Peacock. It's just it all costs so much money. It all.
I
adds
was
up.
looking to shit on one of them. I thought Peacock was safe, but I guess
no. Peacock's cool, dude.
You're sponsored by Peacock, I guess. I don't know what's going on.
I pay for all of them.
Get this man a free subscription.
You want to do something? Dude, you have so much stuff here. Let's just bang through it.
Yeah, let's do one. Okay, so let's do
this tweet thing.
Okay, let's do this tweet. So this guy, Suhail, who created Mixpanel and now is creating Mighty, which is a cool company. Have we talked about Mighty, by the way?
Yeah.
Mighty browser?
It's pretty awesome.
I think we talked about it. So
yeah.
we'll skip that for now. Anyways, good entrepreneur, cool guy, whatever. He tweeted this thing out. And my tweet's not loading right now, but I think it was something along the lines of...
It said, the tweet, what's a company you'd start if you had more energy, time, or a lot more money?
Right. Which is basically like, if you took away your bullshit ass reasons, what's the thing you really should be working on right now? And I find that to be a very interesting question. I have another question that's similar to that. So maybe we'll do both these questions today. So I went through the replies and I want to read you 5 of my favorite replies. And I want you to just give me a gut reaction. Hell yeah, hell no, or I don't fucking get it. Okay, so the first one came from Gary Tan, who's a big shot investor guy. First investor in Coinbase, made like $1 billion on that. So he said a reference check network. Do you know what that means? Just when I say just that?
Yeah. So, well, the problem being solved is how to get like if he's gonna want to invest in someone. Hey, does anyone know, is this person honest?
Right. Or you're hiring somebody and you want to know, okay, yeah, you worked at this place. How do I get a reference check? So normally today you ask the employee, they give you 3 names. Of course, those are the 3 people that are only going to say good things, which is kind of annoying in the first place. So you can't really get the right people. Then you kind of have to bug them. There's no real incentive for them except for to maybe help out their ex-employee. And then you have to think of whatever questions you're going to ask. Most people ask pretty poor questions, but there are better ways of doing it. And in the end, you're just trying to get this fuzzy picture of like, is this person any good or not? So that can be done better. And I think he had some solution in mind, which is like something on the blockchain, which was just like, you are able to, like, I'm able to have people who are linked to me. Somebody can go and request a reference from them. Maybe there's a little payment made. I'm not sure. And then they share information, but it's not publicly shared. It's just shared privately with me, given the context of, who's the employee and what this job
cool.
is. So I thought that was all right. I thought it was a really specific one that I thought was cool because there was a lot of like, I'd solve clean energy. And like, I don't really know what to do with that idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's not that that's a bad mission. It's just like, what the fuck am I supposed to say about that? Okay. Somebody else said, create the largest employer of high school students in the US. What do you think of that?
Sick.
And
yeah. I mean, that sounds awesome. Yes. Yeah. I mean, what is that now? McDonald's? Yeah, like I mean,
yeah, probably honestly, I guess
it might be like McDonald's. I don't know what that would be. I talked to these guys who were building a company. I forget what it was called. You probably know what it was, but it's basically like an Indeed.com, but it's meant for teens, and it looks like TikTok and like Panda Express and McDonald's and like PacSun were all advertising on it, and you could like scroll through and look at job opportunities.
Yeah, I want to say it was called like Peach something or like Lemon something or something like that.
I don't remember, but Panda Express was like spending a ton of money on it. And so anyway, yeah, I think that's cool.
I think it's a great idea. It's not even an idea. I think it's a great prize to go for.
I actually would say that this is like an interesting framework, which is who do you want to employ?
100%. I've been saying this for a long time, which is anybody who could figure out how to employ the stay-at-home mom workforce is going to make billions of dollars. So if you just work backwards from, there's a bunch of moms who are at home. They want to earn a little extra income. Doesn't have to be a ton. They want to maintain flexibility of being able to stay at home and work not like necessarily a fixed number of full-time hours or the same hours every day. Who can solve that problem? And there's only one example that I know of that's solving that problem. I don't know if you know any.
For moms.
Yeah.
Maybe uservoice.com. I think they do it.
User testing.
Usertesting.com.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh, is it really?
My mom worked for them. Yeah. So.
Oh my
so
God. That's so funny.
I knew about it.
What a random thing that we both knew that. So I would say, usertesting.com is an amazing company, by the way. So you just pay someone to like go through your website. They just went
public, by the way. And how cool is this? They just went public, and my mom was like,
say what it is.
So user testing, basically it's a service where I have an app or a website. I want to know where it's confusing for users. Like the design makes sense to me, but like sure enough, when somebody else is using it, they're confused. They can't find the thing they want.
And they just record your mom like scrolling through the site.
So they have an army of testers, which is just all the requirement is be a normal person. We do not even want you to be highly skilled. Like you're supposed to represent the average customer. So they have a bunch of people. They send them a little camera that records their finger on their phone. Basically, it records them and they just talk out loud. So you give a task. You say find a Christmas gift for your dad and put it into your cart. And they're like, okay, I'm looking for the gifts for dad section. I don't see it. Scrolling. They don't see the button that says menu. Oh, there's the menu. Dad. Oh, it's men's. Okay, I'll click men's. Yeah, I don't get how this is sorted. Oh, this is by new release. And you just talk through what's confusing to you. And that 15-minute video goes to the company, and the company gets to watch it, and they get to share it internally. Their researcher basically shares it with the designer or the engineer.
And they pay like $300 for it, right?
No. Each test is like $25 or $30. And then now it's all switched to subscription, but originally it was like $25, $30 a test. The tester gets $10 for doing the test, and the company kept, $15, $20. And so the tester's like, cool, I could do like 4 of these in an hour. And so a bid would come online. Oh, Chipotle wants you to test their new mobile menu. And you would just have to go quickly say yes. And then you qualify. They're looking for women, age 40 to 55 in the US. And you're like, yeah, great. I qualify. I can take this test.
And that's $1 billion company now. Its market cap is over $1 billion. Did your mom get paid? Did they give her shares?
Yeah, it's awesome. So basically my mom she first started off as a tester. Then she got hired by the company to review the other testers because you have to do quality control. So she became she would watch the test and give feedback to the testers of hey, your audio sucks, or you're mumbling, or you didn't follow the instructions of the test. One more strike and you're out of the testing pool. And so that was her job. And she was the oldest person in the company, I think. So she was my mom's 63 now. So she just retired this year. So she was there at 62 years old. My mom had Slack and knew how to use all Jira. She knew what a Jira ticket was. It was crazy. My mom, who knew? And she got some shares, and she had always told me should I? I was like, yeah, you want the shares for sure. And then she would tell me hey, the CEO did an all hands. He said this, and this. Is that good? I'm like, yeah, it sounds good. This company's doing well. I should have bought secondary stock in the company during that time because I had basically inside info of this company's pretty good. This is a good quality company. And I was a user of the service as well. So it goes public the other day, 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, Mom, how many shares do you have? And she looks in Carta. She tells me your shares. I'm like, Mom, you made $150,000 off this.
No way.
And she's like, yeah, because her strike price was super low. She was there for 4 or 5 years. And so I was like, that's amazing. That's my mom was so happy. I never
good for her. That's badass.
Found money.
And so this is why I think this model of who do you want to employ is actually interesting, because it's actually for two reasons. It's motivating. So the fact that they are employing most I have no idea. I'm just gonna make this up. If it's mostly women who stayed at home for a long time and now they want to get back to it, that's incredibly motivating. It's look, we're serving our employees. Yeah, it's very noble. It's cool. Let's say you want to hire ex-cons or something. It's look, this is interesting. Or we're going to hire a bunch of 16-year-olds and it's going to be the first job. We're going to train them how to be men and women and prepare them for the rest of their lives. It's actually incredibly cool. It's fascinating.
There's one, I want to look up the name, give them a shout out here. So it's you hire military wives as EAs.
That's awesome.
It's called...
And it also helps with expectations. So you know what you what's it called?
Squared Away.
Squared Away. That's
it's
cool.
Basically a woman. I think her story is that I'm assuming she was in this position. I don't really know. But basically it's military spouses. And I was like, this is a great idea. Because, this is US, these are US employees. They want this work. They, it's great to provide for their family while, the husband's away. I just think it's awesome. And,
And
So
it helps significantly with expectations because then user testing knows, all right, we're mostly going to be hiring 60-year-old or 50-year-old women who don't have probably a ton of experience with Slack and Jira. So now we know what we're getting into.
Right.
Or
we know our processes. We know how to hire. The culture is good. They all get along.
Yeah.
It's like mindedness.
Or if we're hiring a ton of 17-year-old high school kids, like we know, like here's the deficiencies and here's where they kick ass. Right. Or if we're hiring guys out of jail, we know like here's where they're going to struggle, here's where they're not going to struggle. So that's cool. What are some other great ones on here? That's a good one. It's kind of vague, but pretty cool.
I'll do two more. Okay, we'll do one. VR therapy. So VR is not there for like mainstream use cases. The average person's not coming home and spending a couple hours of VR. There's a few, there are some people who do it. They like to play games, but VR is really awesome for like training. Like I know medical schools buy it so that the doctor can be like in the operating room and they can make a highly lifelike simulation. And I think therapy is a good one too. So being able to put a headset on and really like change your environment, change the state of mind, be able to go role play through scenarios or talk to somebody and feel like you're there with them. I think that's kind of amazing. And so I look forward to seeing like VR with these like really specific high value use cases until like the mainstream thing is ready.
Dude, I'm down with that. I also think I could conquer a bunch of phobias like with that.
Right.
So I'm down. I think that's cool.
Like I know that like athletes are doing this. So like, there's this great, we both love UFC and MMA, and NFL is this way also, but there's this phrase that Conor McGregor's coach always says, which is you want to upgrade the software without damaging the hardware. So it's like, how do you train and improve without putting strain on the body, hurting your body? Because training is so physically grueling. So one way that they're doing it in the NFL is VR headsets. So the quarterback, instead of just watching film, they're first person reading the defense without having to go stretch, get their ankles taped up, go out on the field, potentially, sprain a knee or get hit. It's like they get to practice reading the defense and all the different coverages just in VR. And then when they get out there on the field, like it's that same first person point of view, being able to turn your head and you're only seeing parts of the field. Like it's like pretty much like a 1-to-1 recreation. I think that's kind of awesome. I want to know which company's doing that. I'm sure there's a company doing that.
My favorite videos on YouTube to watch right now are they take folks who play racing sims, so racing simulations with VR sets, and they have these like amazing setups at home that are like $10, $20, right. $50,000, and then they go and put them in a race car. Deal. And they do
they
really
suck or are they good?
No, they do really well. It takes them, like in all the videos I've seen, it takes them 5, 10, 20 minutes to like get used to the noise and get used to like the smell and just the slightly different sensation, but they pick it up super fast. And so it's guys who have actually never raced before, and they get them out there and they give them the fast cars and they pick that shit up. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, like I think even stuff as boring as sales, I think you could practice sales in a much more lifelike way. I know that teachers are doing this for like how to talk to your student about if they're feeling depressed or if they're being bullied. It's like you sit there, a student walks in, you can see their face, they're saying something, and then you have to react, and then you have to like, you're kind of like choosing what to say live. It makes it, you get to practice before you go do the real thing.
That's cool. Any other good ones?
There was a couple other ambitious ones. So there's a terraformation one. We've talked about this before, which is taking just deserts on Earth and turning them into like rainforests, basically turning them into forests, like creating a green oasis of trees there. And like that cleans up, that sucks up a bunch of carbon dioxide from the environment. So it cleans up, the air, as well as like turns it into livable land. And so like, if we can learn how to terraform, which is basically like turn, unlivable land into livable land, that's going to help Earth, but it'll also help when we finally do make it to Mars and we need to turn that into a hospitable place. We're going to need to know how to do terraformation. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And there's another one like that, like drone based wildfire fighting. So like sending in drones to put out wildfires. I think that's pretty cool too.
I think that's great. Those are really neat. What's another one? What's this legal question for $5 million?
This I thought was cool. All right. So as you know, I'm a TikTok binger nowadays. And TikTok is the only social media that like when I leave it, I feel better than when I came in. Everything else, like Facebook, feel awful at the end. Instagram, I feel like, oh man, my brain is rotting. Twitter, I'm like, that was a waste of time just dealing with a bunch of people's bad thoughts. And TikTok is really, I cannot believe how much I enjoy it. Like, it's
is
fun
it just
in the moment.
entertainment?
It's addictive. it's entertainment, but there's a lot of education. Like I learned a lot of shit off TikTok. Now it's all little life stuff. It's like, like, I don't know, stupid examples, but like, hey, if you ever take a photo and you see that, like, where your eye, like when you take a photo, your eye can have like a red, like, you look kind of evil, like the camera has that flash or whatever, like a red dot. If that's ever white, you should go to the doctor. Because there's actually like a very, like there's a chance that that's a very bad thing. And then this guy was replying saying, actually, I had heard that. I saw a photo like the line of that. I went to the doctor. It turns out I had eye cancer. He's like, I actually had my eye removed, but like it saved my life that we found it early. And I don't know, just random shit. That to like, just quickly seeing like how an avocado gets to your door. It's like, oh, cool. This farmer TikTok is dope. Like parenting TikTok is great. It's like, oh, when your kid is just not listening, how many times have you done this? I'm like, yeah, fuck, that's me. And they're like, here's a better way to say it. And I'm like, thanks. Parent I never had to teach me how to do this really important thing in my life. Like you just learn little shit. So, anyways, I was on it and there's this account called Legal Baddie. Legal Baddie is just like some hot lawyer. And she's like, here's my question for you. She goes, if I told you that you were going to make $5 million a year as your salary, regardless of what you do. So you're just, you were going to work 30, 40 hours a week. You're going to make a fixed rate of $5 million a year. What would you choose to do as your work? Like you still have to work to get it. What would you choose as your job? And obviously this is like, a hidden question of kind of like, what do you actually really enjoy to do if money wasn't an issue? But you still have to work, right? So there's one of like, oh, if I had $100 million, well, then maybe I wouldn't work at all. Like maybe I would just do blah, blah, blah. This is like, you have to work to earn this, but no matter what job you do, you're going to earn the same amount. So which job?
By the way, I'm looking at her profile. I love Legal Baddie. I love this woman.
Why? It's just her look. What do you like?
She's just like,
she's a baddie.
So this woman's a lawyer. Is that her shtick?
Yeah, I think she's a lawyer. Otherwise,
I just think she's
maybe
crushing it.
Legal means something else. I don't know what's going on.
If this woman,
maybe she's 19 and that's why she's going.
First gen lawyer from UCLA Law. I think it's amazing. She's probably making more money off TikTok, and like she's like, I particularly like it with women, but I like it with men too, where they talk about like cool shit, like passing the bar exam or whatever. But then like she's got all a bunch of nail shit. I always think it's cool where like you can break that barrier of like smut and cool stuff, and also like legitimate life helping content. I always thought that was cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm with you. So she has 500,000 followers on here, and like her top videos have.
Yeah, she's like doing like purposely hot girl stuff, and then also like telling you how to get into law school. I always think that's cool.
Law school, and then downward dog, and then back to quick bar exam tip, and then back to my favorite nails.
And like here's like a pretty racy bikini video of her.
Right.
So yeah,
she knows what she's doing, right? Like let's credit where credit is due. She is giving the market what it wants.
I love this lady.
Differentiated thing. Right? She's not just one of the like kind of like TikTok hot girl in a bikini or whatever. Like she layered it with another like that the skill stack, as you call it, right? How rare is that? There's not a lot of lawyers on TikTok. There's not a lot of hot girls. Both, she might be the only one, right? So she's competing in a pool of one.
And there's this video of her talking in front of like C-SPAN, like some type of press. I love this. Anyway, I love her. So what's the question? $5 million. Okay. What would your job be?
Yeah. What would you do for your job if you were for sure going to get paid $5 million? What would you just choose to do for that 30, 40 hours a week?
What's your answer?
Now I want to hear yours first.
I don't know.
What comes to mind?
$5 million a year, and you have to have like a 40-hour a week job, right?
Yeah.
Definitely something involving like charity. So like something involving not making money. So if I can get $5 million and all I have to do is like spend time like running a dog shelter, or
that's awesome.
I would do that in a heartpit. If I could pay $5 million,
not what I thought you were going to say.
If I could do $5 million to like run like a dog rescue, I would do that in a heartbeat. Or to help ex-inmates find jobs. I think that would be exciting. Or even like people like everything we just discussed about helping stay-at-home moms get employment. Anything that involves helping people and not making money, I would do that.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, mine's kind of similar. Mine's kind of boring. I would probably teach. Like I just love teaching. So I would teach. Now the question is, what would I teach? I think I would teach kind of like business/life stuff to people who want to actually like, they're really motivated to have a great life and have a great like kind of business career. And so those are the people I like hanging out with the most. And that's the thing I like doing the most is basically learning shit and then just packaging it up and then teaching it to others and answering questions, talking things through basically with people, figuring stuff out. So I think that's probably what I would do. But I feel like, your dog shelter thing made me think, oh, maybe there's an even more lightweight, just pure enjoyment. Like maybe actually, I know what it would probably be. I would be like I'd be a basketball coach, or I would be like like whatever the F- basketball league is. Like I'd be a basketball player. Cause like
that'd be
what's
sick.
the thing that
travel.
I have the absolute most fun doing is playing basketball, and like second best would be coaching a basketball team.
This woman, legal baddie, has another question. Would you rather have $10 million today or $100 million in 5 years? That's the easiest question ever.
Which one would you take?
105.
Yeah, exactly. 105 is great. It gets, if it's 50, I think it's a lot closer.
It gets a lot closer at 50 because 50 could turn into 100 in 5 years in a bull
50,
market.
10 will turn into 20, but also you got to have 10 now, and you didn't have to wait 5 years of your life, which is, pretty significant. But yeah, I think my answer is I'd be on some Gordon Bombay shit, and I'd go do my Mighty Ducks thing with some high school team.
I think that's a good answer. You want to do a few more?
Let's do something else. Let's do a couple ideas. So business idea. All right. Problem I just ran into, sending a gift to your production partner, your factory partner, overseas. Okay. Sending gifts in general is hard. Sending gifts overseas, even harder. Because just the act of mailing things and I want to send them bottle of wine for Christmas or what. It's like, I can't mail that. How do I do this? I gotta look up UPS's alcohol shipment, rules and make sure it doesn't crack and all this. So I was searching, I'd like to send my factory a gift in China. Is there just a version of DoorDash in China? I could just go look at what they have, push a button, and they'll just deliver it to them. And
that's
boom, it's done. And I actually found this really janky website. I'm gonna find find the name of it. But basically, I found this old school looking Craigslist looking website, and it was, we send gifts to your business partners in East Asia, and it's that's all we do. Browse. Here's 50 gift baskets ranging from ballin' out to we just met. And, you want to spend $40, you want to spend $400, you could pick, and they just say, great. What? And then their address field is formatted for Chinese address. It's it's optimized where you have confidence that they will actually deliver the goods. And I'm not going to have to worry about logistics. I'm just going to be able to put in some money, and I'm going to have a thoughtful gift to my factory partner. So I like this idea because, okay, there's probably some amount of people like me that are searching for this. Okay, it's Christmas, I want to get a gift for my business partner. But
do they not have? Can you not order an Amazon thing and send it to China?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't know. Maybe I could have just done something as simple as that. I don't think so. But maybe there's maybe I needed to go on Taobao and figure that out.
Yeah, but that's a pain in the ass because I don't even know what Taobao is.
Exactly. This was pay with PayPal, you're done. And I was great. This is what I wanted. And it was also organized as a gift. So it wasn't just an item where they're just going to get it in a shitty Amazon box. It's it looks like a gift. It's in a gift care package, which is nice. That's the goal of what I was trying to do. It's edible arrangements to China is what I was trying to do essentially. So I sent it, and I was just thinking you could just do this and then do cold outreach to the 1 million Shopify stores and be hey, it's a good idea. You should send your factory, your manufacturing partner a gift basket, and it costs $50. It goes a long way. These people, they're key to your business, and studies show blah, blah, blah. And gifting is a big thing in China. It shows respect. Don't be rude. And you could do that 3 times a year. It's,
that's
Chinese New Year, it's whatever else. And I think just through outbound, you could create probably a $1 million a year revenue business, maybe $3 million a year in 2 weeks. I think you could create that.
So listen to this crap. So the other day we got a mattress delivered to our front door, a Zinus mattress. It's huge. And it had Sarah's name on it. I go, Sarah, why'd you order a mattress? She goes, I didn't order a mattress. And I'm we got to find out who sent this mattress because we can't open this up because if you open it up, it's a pain in the butt. We're just going to keep it in the box and maybe send it back, or we'll sell it for $200 or give it to a friend.
Yeah, so here's a heavy ass, huge box.
Huge.
That you can't open and you don't know where it came from.
Yes. And it says Zinus, so I know it's a cloud mattress. I don't even know what size of mattress it is. Okay, I got to open it up. And she posts on Twitter, and Nick Huber, Sweaty Startup, says, that was from me. And I go, oh, very funny. And he goes, no, that was seriously from me. We wanted you to know I invested into his storage business.
Yeah.
And he said, we wanted you to be able to sleep well at night knowing that your money is like being taken care of. And I was like, well, I appreciate the sincerity. That's lovely.
Yes.
Who the hell has I don't have like a spare
an unmattressed bed.
Yeah, like I don't have an unmattressed bed. Like, what were you thinking? Like maybe a blender would have been cool, or like just chocolate, like
a pillow.
A pillow would have
been
yeah, like a fancy pillow. I could use another one of those. He gave me an extra mattress, and so we've been texting our friends like, does anyone need a mattress?
Yeah, he created a pain in the ass for you.
Yes, I'm like, dude, just send me chocolate covered nuts, or you know what I mean? Like, give me like some flavored, like some weird fruit or something. I don't want a fucking mattress. He sent me a mattress. I've got this huge mattress in the front door.
60-pound problem,
and I've got guests coming on Friday, and I'm like looking like a redneck with this mattress on my front
bed.
We have a bed. They're staying in the bed that's already in the guest room. And I'm like, look like an idiot. I look like a country bumpkin with just a mattress on my front door. And I'm like, oh, just ignore that. We'll get rid of it. So I'm on board with better gifting. Nick Huber, this will make it to you. I really appreciate the gesture, though. It was very nice. But like maybe like peanut butter cups and like chocolate covered nuts and like some chocolate turtles would be more sufficient.
I love it. All right, so that's one quick idea, the factory gift idea with the outbound outreach to every FBA and Amazon seller, sorry, a Shopify seller. And I think you could side hustle your way into $1 million a year doing that. Okay, here's another random thing. Have you ever seen EMF protected pants?
Is that for your computer on your balls?
Is that your phone? Yeah.
No.
I don't know if EMF. It might be EM something else, electromagnetic, whatever, radiation.
I'm on board with this though. I hate I don't know. It's EMF. The studies, I don't know exactly what it is, but like basically having your laptop on your lap and that heat is not. I don't know if it's radiation or what it is. It like is proven to kill your sperm. Another thing, like wearing whitey tighties, like tight underwear where your balls are against your body, that actually kills your sperm because it heats your body up too much.
Let them babies swang. You know what I mean? You can't be. The bird's got to fly.
Yes.
You can't keep them in the nest. So I've noticed that there's a few people in my life who they're like the canary in the coal mine. Like they kind of get really into stuff, and when they first say, I'm like, why are you even thinking about this? Why do you even care about this? You're one of these people, by the way, where it's like, dude, Sam just got really into fucking mobility and stretching. He's like got really serious about like ripped dudes who want to stretch and be like super mobile, or it'll be like he's on this kick about like really wanting like toughness challenges. Like life is too good, he's too soft, so he's craving this like core primal challenge in his life. Is that just Sam being Sam? And actually, what it ends up being is like Sam being ahead of the curve by like 3 years, and it's gonna be proven to be like quite popular. There's a few people in my life that are like that. My brother-in-law is like this. You're like this. My trainer, I've learned, is one of these people where he'll say something and he's like, super into this thing. I'm like, I've never he'll be like, oh yeah, dude, I take Kratom. It's like, oh, Kratom? Like, what the fuck's Kratom? Like, do you know what Kratom is?
No.
It's like basically, so he's big into like these like kind of supplements, nootropics, which like, if the promise of them is amazing, but you like can't tell if they work or not. Uh-huh. Like people who believe in them are like, oh, this feels great, but it's that thing we talked about before. It's like the best product in the world is CBD for dogs because
it's the best.
You think you're giving them pain relief, but you'll never know if it does anything. And like CBD for humans is like that too, but the dogs can't talk. And so there's a whole bunch of these like kind of nootropics or supplements that's like, oh yeah, I take lion's mane and I take like, fucking milk of magnesia. I don't know, whatever. Just a bunch of random ass names. And then later, like he was telling me about like Tangali. And then Dr. Huberman came on. He's like, yeah, I don't do testosterone anymore. I get it from these other like more natural herbs like Tangali and whatever. I was like, dude, there's only two people in my life that I've ever said this name, Tanga Ali. And like, it's these two people. And so I've just noticed he's ahead of the curve on a lot of these, whether it's like fashion, fitness, supplements, nootropics, like books that he's into. And so on the supplement side, he's like really this thing called Kratom, which is kind of like a Advil. Like you take it instead of Advil. So it's like kind of like it helps with your aches and pains without the side effects of like
doesn't like thin your blood or hurt your kidneys.
Yeah, like you're bad for your liver and shit like that.
Yeah.
And so anyways, where I'm going with this. Okay, so he's like, oh yeah, dude, he's got his fashion line coming out where he's like making clothes. Basically just like I'm his only customer right now because it's like not released, but I just get to have a bunch of his shit. And I'm like, oh, this is amazing. He's like, yeah, the shorts on these, the pockets have like EMF protection. And I was like, what? And he's like, oh yeah, like I'm big into like, just why not? Why not have EMF protection? And I was like, he's like, yeah, your phone's in your pocket all day, it's right next to your balls. Like, you just don't want that. I want to have kids. I don't want to be having all this stuff there. And I'm like, I guess you're right. I guess
it's pretty sick.
I was like, it's so normal. Everybody puts in their pocket. So like, is there something to be worried about? And I call this FUDware. FUD, which stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So I
Did
think
you make that up?
Yeah, there's a general trend I'm creating here called FUDware. And I think that FUDware is going to be anything that's like, oh yeah, like blue blocker light glasses, EMF radiation proof pants. It's like, and that's not to say that they're all like, it's not to say that any of this is false. Like, it might be totally true, but it's basically preying on people that are, when you tell them, oh, did you know that paraben, you should never have aluminum in your deodorant? And they're like, what? Aluminum? Am I going to die? All right, I'm never using Old Spice. I'll use native deodorant instead. It's like paraben free. It's like, what the fuck's a paraben? But I guess I've heard parabens are bad for you, like that guy who came on the show and he was like, oh yeah, I don't drink out of plastic because, phthalates.
I don't drink out of plastic either.
And it's like, but it's still super common, but the smart people I know are like starting to say this word phthalate. I never heard this word before, but I'm starting to hear this. And it tells me there's a bunch of people that as they become aware, they're going to start to steer away.
Or Teflon pans.
Right, exactly. Like the nonstick or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think there's just a whole class of products that are just FUDware. And you could just find the next FUD of like, what are people afraid of? It's like, oh, like they want to do like UV cleaning of their phone and their toys because UV kills, COVID and, UV red lights.
That's a great one. FUDware. That's fantastic. So a few more like the water filters. So there's those charcoal silver water filters that are everywhere. Totally. I think Justin Mayer said he tried to get built like a huge one. So all of his home water goes through this thing.
Yeah, he said he has like an intense. I asked him, I go, what do you do for water? He goes, I go way over, but I have like a 12-foot tall system that's filtering my water.
Is it called like it's called like Berkeley or Berkeley?
I don't know what it's called. But when Rob Dyrdek was on, he said that too. He's like, I'm making a shower head filter company. Cause like, oh yeah, what if I found out that I'm showering in fucking toxic chemicals? Well, then I'm going to buy this attachment that purifies it. Like if you just put a little seed of doubt into my brain, I'm going to be like, yeah, why not? I'm just going to err on the side of safety.
And in the same realm with that, and I actually I would want to look into this, but I think laptops on men laps is like a massive issue.
Right.
I like it could potentially be quite big.
You could just make a whole company just protecting men's balls from the modern day harm. It's like, yeah, here's a laptop tray that's like fucking made out of kryptonite. And it's like, you can't pass through this. Here's your shorts. Put it in this pocket. It won't fry your balls. Wear this underwear because your underwear has cotton phosphors. It's like, what's a cotton phosphor? I don't know. Shaan just made it up, but it's bad for your balls. And so it's like,
did you just make that up? That's good.
It sounded good, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, the heat, it does freak me out. Like having that heat, like I feel it and I'm like, oh, this is horrible for me. So I have like a pad, like I put a pad on my lap.
Here's a small, pomade you need to apply to your balls every night before you sleep, because you know that when you sleep, the gravity pulls your balls and it's bad for you. Like
how
I can
much?
just make up an endless number of ball.
Okay, here's this one that I saw these guys launch and they advertised with us early on, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Why are you guys even doing this? And now it's a $1 billion company, Manscaped. Yeah. Have you heard about Manscaped?
I have. I asked a buddy, I said, what's one of the best investments in your portfolio? What are your best investments? I thought he'd name some tech company, some cybersecurity company. He goes, oh, Manscaped is great, because they raised like only a tiny amount of money and they're worth like close to $1 billion.
Is it a $1 billion company, you think?
I don't know. Something like that. It's worth.
But they sponsored the UFC, and that's a really expensive sponsorship, and they sponsor a ton of stuff. If you told me that they do like 150 million in revenue, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think it's definitely over 100 million in revenue.
You think it's over 200?
I mean, I don't know.
And I've never used one. I told Sarah to buy one for me because I wanted one for my nose hair. And I think they have like.
Why did Sarah have to buy it for you? Why didn't you just buy it?
She wanted a Christmas present for. Okay. I told on my Christmas. I was like, give me like the nose hair one. I think they have a nose hair one. But like
it's all in one.
Is it all in one? I don't mind using.
They give you that cover. They give you that air cover to be like, yeah, I just want to trim my beard and my nose. And what do you know? It comes with these other attachments. Maybe your boy will start manscaping.
Yeah, I'm cool with using that on my face and on my. No, the nose one's different. But the Manscaped like buzzer, it it's just a normal. I think it's just a normal buzzer. I don't know how it's actually different than like a normal hair.
It's much different.
And they crushed it. This cat, I never in a million years would have thought that this was going to work.
Yeah, it sounded like a joke when it came out. I remember just being like, "Oh, that's a funny joke of a company. Cool joke of the day for a startup."
Yes, and they kill it. They sponsor all the major like boxing and UFC stuff. These guys are killing it, and it doesn't look so. I'm on board with Protect Your Balls. That's a good business, and FUD is a phenomenal name. What does it stand for?
FUDware. FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So they say this in the market a lot. Like if people are like, "Oh, I heard China's going to ban Bitcoin," or like, "Isn't it true that like Satoshi was a part of the NSA?" It's like, "Oh, this is just FUD you're spreading to get people to be uncertain and doubt and sell their positions." And
dude, that's great. Like compression socks. I buy compression socks. That's FUDware. I have no idea if it works, but it just
what is it supposed to do?
Compression socks, when you run, I have calf pain and Achilles pain all the time. Compression socks are socks that you pull really high up to your knees, and they have a lot of compression on it, and it keeps your calves tight. So if you ever wear like compression shorts, like that tight underwear for your thighs, it's like that for your calves and ankles.
Gotcha. Okay. I like it. I dig it.
Can we wrap up with one thing? So recently, this Bitcoin thing, Craig Wright, I don't know much about it other than like one article I read. I guess he's an Australian guy, and he was being sued by this person who wanted a share of the money for. What's the story?
I don't know about his lawsuit, but I know about Craig Wright, and that he basically for a long time has been claiming to be Satoshi Nakamoto. He claims to be the creator of Bitcoin, and then people who are smart in the community are like, "There's no fucking way."
So this lawsuit basically, he's being sued by the spouse of someone. This Craig Wright had a partner. The partner died, and the spouse of the partner sued Craig Wright, and Craig Wright won the lawsuit. And in winning,
for what?
She said that you owe me money because of this reason and that reason. We created this. You and my husband created this thing together. You owe us some money. And in winning, I forget exactly how it worked, but in winning the case, the jurors said, "Well, no, you're Satoshi, and you worked on this alone." And so, like, in order for him to win, in a weird, I don't know the exact details, but in order for him to win, they were basically saying, "Yes, we believe you're Satoshi, and Satoshi worked alone."
So, okay, here's the story. So, Kleinman versus Wright, the jury ruled that David Kleinman's relationship to Craig Wright did not constitute a business partnership, meaning the estate was not entitled to a share of the Satoshi Nakamoto fortune, which Wright claims to have control over as the self-purported creator of Bitcoin. The jury ruled against Wright on the conversion count, awarding $100 million to Kleinman. What? Oh, ruled against Wright. Yeah. So they got $100 million out of it.
I don't know, because I thought he was celebrating. It was a little confusing, but the point is that this legal team.
So, okay, they wanted billions. They didn't get that, but they got $100 million against him for the unauthorized use of funds from Kleinman and Wright's shared venture, W&K Info Defense Research LLC. Okay, this is from something else.
So is this guy the guy who started it? That's what I want to know.
So basically, so he claims to have invented Bitcoin. Then there's a great clip, by the way, of Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum, co-creator of Ethereum, on stage, and he goes, they were talking about it, and usually people like in a conference panel, people are usually pretty like, they don't take shots at people like live there, and he just pipes up. He goes, "You want to know what I think?" And they're like, "Yes, we'd love to know what you think." He goes, he gives this like quick, like 2-minute rant that just destroys Craig Wright, where he's like, "I think if you're the creator of Bitcoin, you have and everybody was saying you're not, and you keep trying to tell people you are, all you have to do is one simple thing. You just have to sign something with Satoshi's wallet, and that will just show that you're him. And the fact that you're not doing that, like he calls some Occam's razor or whatever, like just some term like that. He's like, the simplest explanation here is that you're not Satoshi. Because if you have a simple way to prove your claim and you do not prove your claim using the simple way, you cannot prove your claim." And so he kind of just like shit on him right there.
So who
crowd went wild.
So who is this? You think that he's just died, or he's still quiet?
The best theory is that it's this guy Hal. I forgot what his name is. Hal Finney. Hal Finney was like a cryptographer. He received the first Bitcoin transaction. He was the second wallet, and normally like what does a developer do when they test something? That's like, oh, I send it from like Sean A to Sean B, like my test account, basically. Like that's how I do the first transaction. And he was like very active in the forums, and then he died right around the time he got ALS and died around the time that the last known time that Satoshi ever posted anything. So it seems like
why wouldn't he tell? Do you think he? Why wouldn't he like tell his wife or his family or like? Because it looks like he has a wife on these pictures.
Yeah. Well, A, maybe he did, and B, some people are so mission driven in their thinking, and like there's a real genius of the idea of being like, I'm gonna have this as a pseudonymous name, Satoshi Nakamoto. I'm not gonna use my real name, which means I'll never get the credit for being a genius if this works. But also, it's kind of like the parent dies so the child can survive. It's like the only way a currency like this could have really worked is if you couldn't point to the creator, because then they would just attack the creator. They would say the creator has too much. They'd say this guy has ulterior motives. He has control. He's too powerful to, he's just the new bad guy. Okay, you're bad at the Federal Reserve and the governments. Now you're bad at this guy for a private citizen being in control of this. So,
and you think this is him?
I personally think it's him. I've looked into a couple times about like who are the most likely candidates. Is it a group of people? Was it the government themselves? Was it one person? And it does seem like it was I guess like I shouldn't say it does seem like it. There's really no evidence of the existing evidence that's there. This kind of like speculative data points you have. Hal Finney fits the story in my worldview the best. So I think it's him.
God, I love these mysteries.
Which would mean that it's sort of gone. Like his coins are locked up.
Unless
forever.
He gave them to his wife.
Unless he gave her the keys, and told her don't touch it because it hasn't moved. No, not a single coin has moved, ever. And I think if he did, let's say he did give her instructions. How would I give instructions? I would say, I would probably not actually let her have it. I would say, this file is going to be available to you on this date, 20 years from now. And I would say, follow the instructions inside. So I wouldn't even give her the opportunity to make a bad decision. Because I would say if these move before Bitcoin wins, then this will be very destructive for it. Like if the creator of Bitcoin starts to sell Bitcoin, that will trigger like a huge sell off in the market, because it'll be like, oh, the creator's alive. They don't believe they're selling their coins. Who is it? It'll create this like whole drama. It'll hurt the project.
But has any money ever left his account?
No. Not a single Satoshi has ever left his account.
So then he would have had to have created a different account for her to live on or something.
Yeah, which could have easily happened, right? At some point. But people can also see the ledger, so they know who all Satoshi sent they know which wallets Satoshi sent coins to. And some of them are like known identities, like the other people that were in this like crypto, like the cypherpunk community that wanted to test out the project early on. But he very easily could have just had her set up a mining rig. So it didn't even have to come from his account. He could just say, because he didn't give himself the coins. He mined the coins.
Sure.
It's just that mining was so easy at that time. So, she could be miner number 8, that mined some coins, and that's it.
She can live off that.
Yeah.
God, how
we should see how's Finney, how's she living? Is she like in a $40 million home in Venice?
I don't even know if I mean, there's a woman with all these pictures with him. Like it looks like a wife. I don't even know anything about her. I just Googled. It doesn't say anything about Wikipedia about his wife. But his wife raised. Yeah. So he does have a wife. Finney. Yeah. I'd be curious. I'm looking at pictures of his house when he's dying, like pictures of him dying and he's in his home. It does not look fancy.
Yeah. Yeah. Also ALS just looks so brutal, man.
It feels like the worst.
Completely debilitated. That's really tough.
Yeah. So anyway, that's fascinating. We should do like an entire episode on that. This shit is so interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree. We should just do the research of like, okay, what is all the research that's out there, and like, what's the conclusion? I think I'm fascinated by like this story. I think it's one of the coolest fucking straight out of a movie, but it's actually real life things that has ever happened.
I like that and Silk Road, but I think the Silk Road case is far more cut and dry than anyone thinks. I think Ross did it. I think Ross did everything.
Right.
What I mean?
What's the controversy? People think what?
Many people were running it. Dred Scott Pirate, whatever the what's the name? Dred Pirates Roberts or whatever. Yeah. They're saying that was multiple people. And whenever I post about Ross Ulbright, people are like, free Ross. And I'm like, well, like he did kind of hire people to kill one another, like other people. Like, I don't know. Like,
have you seen the comments? So you have a YouTube video about your story.
Yeah, they hate, and they're like,
comments are like, there's like an army of people that love Ross and hate anybody that says anything bad. You didn't even say anything bad.
I didn't say anything bad. I said I think he did it, but
right.
but my thing is like I mean, he sold drugs, so there's some consequence to that. Not life, but some consequence. But if you did like murder for hire, yeah, life is definitely fair. If you do it 3 times, totally fair.
Right.
And when like I read that book, American Kingpin, and I looked at some of the evidence, and I'm like, yeah, there were some bad cops working on the case, and those guys got in trouble, but it definitely seems like this guy did it. I don't understand how there's any shadow of a doubt.
Right. By the way, Fran Finney's Twitter bio, and we'll just leave it on this note. She says, I graduated from Caltech. I spent 35 amazing years married to Hal Finney, who lived with ALS from 2009 to 2014.
Currently living in Dubai.
I vow to spend the rest of my life making him proud. I thought that was nice.
Yeah, man, she seems like a sweetheart. And
it turns out, my wife. Be like, hey,
turns out she
never happens to me.
Drives like a Ferrari and a Bugatti and like only wears Gucci.
I vow to spend the rest of my life in these fresh ass Gucci's.
Yeah, Gucci life. Yeah,
dude, this is hilarious. You see this? Did you ever see that meme? You know that guy Hezbollah, the little guy.
I love him.
So he tweeted out this thing. He goes, "Man, people say I had this. Like people always talk about my disability." Did you see this meme?
Yes. And what did he say?
He goes, yeah, I got disability to make that bread. And it's a picture of him holding a huge block of cash. Yeah. He's like, disability to make this money.
I love that kid. He's not a kid. I think he's like 20.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm going to get canceled just trying to describe anything about him without being offensive. So I'm just not going to say anything. All right, let's roll. I'm out of here.